Hello students, a warm welcome. Myself Vijay Lakshmi. Welcome to our computer class. Hope you all enjoyed your vacation. Very good. In the last session, you have completed with chapter number 2, MS Access. I hope you all are familiar with MS Access, that is how to open the Access, how to create database tables, filtering data, creating relationship between tables, and creating the forms. Now in today's class, I am going to start with a new topic which is called as queries. That is chapter number 3, Query and Report. As you know that MS Access has got different objects like tables, forms, reports and queries. Today we are going to understand what are queries. In normal English language, what do you mean by query? Query comes from the word enquiry. Enquiry means you are enquiring about something. When you go to the Cinemax, when you go to a railway station, when you go to the school, you inquire about something. At that time, they will sort the data for the answer. So, if you want to find the answer to the question, you have to create a corresponding query first. Once your query has been created, you instruct the access to run the query, that is to perform the steps through which you can obtain your answer. The answer which will be displayed in the data sheet view. So, the query is a simple question or a basic tool for retrieving the information from our database. Means it is retrieved from our database. So queries are like a simple question that you ask to find the specific information for the table. You can use queries to view, summarize, change and analyze specific data in different ways. For example, in the school records, school database, we have all the details like students' SID number, student name, class, division, transportation, activity. Suppose you want to know how many students have scored above 90%. What you will do? In that, it sorts and shows the result of the students who scored above 90. You can ask that, why can't I take filter option to filter the data? Which is available, easily available sorting option, but no. Because filter option will filter the data and exact table will be shown there. Whereas in queries, it will form a separate table and the result of the query is also stored in the another table. What happens in the queries? The result of the query will be stored in another table. So, the students scored above 90% will be scored in another table. And how many students have taken activity cricket? The activity table is also stored in another query table. Same thing, students are from class 8. How many students are there from class 8? The answer is stored in the separate table. So, how many types of queries are there? Mainly there are 4 types. Simple query, unmatched query, duplicate query, cross-tab query. Simple query. What do you mean by simple query? Simple query is used to ask some particular question about the data in the database. If you want to ask some particular question about the data, it is known as simple question. That is simple query. What do you mean by unmatched query? Unmatched query is used to find the records from one table that do not have corresponding values in the second table. Means the records from one table will be not matched to the second table. Duplicate query. Duplicate query is used to display the records that have same values for one or more of the specified fields. The records that have same values for one or more of the specified fields is duplicate query. Cross-tab query. Cross-tab query is used to display the same data. It is used to display the same data but groups the data both horizontally and vertically so that the data sheet can be more compact and easier to read. But in these 4 types of queries, we are dealing with only the simple query. Now, how the query window looks. The query window contains 2 parts. First, the top one is known as top pane. It displays the tables that are selected for the query. It displays the tables. The down one, that is bottom pane, contains the design grid. Bottom pane contains the design grid. You can see the picture. This is the top pane and this is the bottom pane. You can add the fields to the query by dragging them from the student list to the design grid or by double clicking on the field. When you double click here, you can create the query. So, before creating a query, we'll understand the design grid. And here can you see these are the tables, database tables. Once we have created the student details database and the student, that is a dance practice database. When we want to add a query to both the tables, we can choose the both tables. And this is the view button. When we click on the view button, we can view the data. We can view the design view. We can view the layout view where we can change the layouts. And this is the run button. When you click on this run, you can get the query. You can generate the query when you click on this run option. And these are the field list. And this is the fields. First row, that is displays the selected fields from the table. And the table row displays the names of the selected table. It displays the selected name of the table. When you double click on this student ID, it comes here and the table name of the table is students details. It comes here. And row displays a check mark for the fields that are displayed when we run a query. If you don't want to display the field, we can uncheck the box. This box you can uncheck. And this one is the sort option. Sort option means it is used to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. And next is criteria. Criteria contains the condition used to filter out the data from the table. Means you can use the criteria to filter the data. Okay. Now children, how to create a query? You can create a query using create tab, and the options will be create a query using query design or create a query using query wizard. So there are two options, but the simplest one is to create a query using query design. When you click on the query design, it shows a table dialog box appears on the screen. Then you have to select the record source of your query either by selecting tables, queries or both. Once the required table you have selected, then you can click on the add button. Then you have to close the window. Then query design view window appears. That box you have to close. The table box you have to close. Then the query design window appears. You can see my Access database. That is, I have created the students details database as the fields are student ID, first column, student name, standard, division, father's name and mobile number and fees. These all are there in the students details. And I have created one more table, that is activity details table. Now first I am showing you only with the one table, how to create a query using only one table. In a query, I want to show you only the column, that is student ID, student name and mobile number. Only the three columns should be displayed. So for that, first click on the create option, click on the create tab, click on the query design button, select window. Then the show table box appears. Then you can see the two table names which we have created earlier. That is, one is activity details and second one is student details. Now I want to take only one table, that is student details. When you click on that, the student tables, that is, it is shown here. Now I want to create a query for that. So click on this. You can double click on the student ID. When you double click on the student ID, it will be shown here in the grid view. So here you have added student details. After adding, then you can realize you have added wrong table. For example, if you have added any wrong table that you don't want to use for query, then you can click on the right button and you can delete the table. But this table will be deleted in the query, but in the database it will be there, it will be present. Okay, now when you double click on the student ID, it will appear in the grid. When you double click on the student name, it comes here. When you double click on the mobile number, it will be shown here. Okay children? Yes. Now I want to run a query. I have took only the three fields, three columns. When you click on the run option, the query is displayed. Student ID, student name and mobile number is displayed here. When the query is generated, you can save the query. when you click on the right button, there is an option known as save. If you want to save the query, then you click on the save button, the query 1 is saved in your database. Now you have created a query using design view. Okay, children, understood? Yes. Now using the criteria in query, how we can use the criteria in query? You can find specific records in your database by using criteria. This is the criteria option. You can use some criteria. In the student ID, that is the numbers, roll numbers will be from 1 to 10. I want to see the roll number of 10. Roll number 10, only of that particular record I want to see. Then for that, I have to write the criteria in the student ID. If I want to know the student name, that is Aman, then I can write the criteria. That is, criteria are the conditions that identify the records you want to find. Next, you can use the wildcard characters in query. You can use the wildcard characters, that is asterisk and question mark. Asterisk and question mark represents the wildcards in the query. Wildcards are symbols that represent any character or combination of characters. Access provides the two special wildcard. That is, first one is asterisk. It represents any collection of characters, any number of characters. And the question mark represents an individual character. This is individual character. And this is the collection of characters. So, now I will show you how to do this. Now students, can you see the student details database? And I'm using Access 2007. And student details table, when you double click on this is a student details table. When you click on the activity details, this is the activity details table. In student details, I have created student ID, name, standard, division, father's name, mobile number, fees. In activity details, I have student ID, student name, activity, activity practice, timing and transportation. When you click on this, you can close both the tables. Now I want to create a query. Click on the query design. You can use the tables. Now I am using two tables. And it is having the relation as student ID is the primary key. And you want the query for student ID, student name, standard and activity. Okay children, now I am using the columns from fields from both the tables. Student ID details, student name in the student details table, standard in the student details and activity in activity details table. When you run the query, you will see all the 4 columns. When you click on this view button, and if you click on the design view, you can go to the design view. Next, I want to show you the criteria. In the criteria, I want to see the student name Aman. Only student Aman, that record I want to see. So I am using the criteria Aman. Click on the run. Only the Aman record will be displayed. That is student ID, name, standard and activity. Again go back to the design view. I want to show you the wildcard character, that is wildcard symbols, that is wildcards or symbols. First one is you can use asterisk, that is A star. I want the names, students' names which start from the letter A, which start from the letter A, that characters, that names will be displayed here. Click on the run option. The student's name column, only the starting letter A, that names will be displayed here. Click on the view. One more option I want to show you. Second wildcard symbol is question mark. One second. In A star, can you see the names? See, Aman, Amar, Akash, Aditya and Ajal. Here, AMAN and AJAN. Only the second character is different. Second letter is different. So for this, if I want to see that both, so I can use, I don't know the spell. So for that, I am using A question mark AN. A question mark AN. When you click on the run, the second letter is question mark. So it searches for the second and it displays here. First and the last two letters we have defined, we have entered, that is A and N. Only the second is we have put question mark. So this is the query. Okay children, hope you have understood. Practice at home. Thank you children.